Hey, what's up? It's Erin, and this is another weekly Prospect to Profit where you get to find out little tidbits and things that make online marketing even more fun if you weren't having fun with it already. I heard something interesting, and it was that marketing is just like throwing wet noodles at the wall, and you just hope the right ones stick. And when they're done just right, wham, they stick right up there. And then a lot of them just fall off, and you got to keep trying. Get more noodles, try more noodles. You might have to try the same kind of noodles a few times, figure out which one sticks, or you might just have to dump that whole batch and find brand new noodles. In any case, let's go look at some noodles and reasons that they don't work. Okay, so this one today is, we are going to look at Prospect to Profit, the video lead generation strategy, and why you might suck at marketing. This is the top 5 reasons that people suck at marketing. And this isn't to say that you actually suck at marketing, but this is something that kind of is a common feeling among people, especially those people trying to do their own marketing, kind of getting stuck in this thing like you keep doing what you think you're supposed to do. You're spending 5 hours a day like you think you're supposed to, and it's not happening for you. Oh my gosh. Okay, what then? Now you start to feel like you want to give up. And that is a no-no. Christian Mickelson, I went to one of his events. He's very big, very, very big. And he had a sign on the wall. He loves sayings. And one of them just said, success is inevitable. Like, unless you quit or die, you're going to succeed somehow. Success is inevitable if you keep going. You don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know how, but it will. So let's stick with that. Success is inevitable and get into the top 5 reasons why people suck at marketing. So you're probably one of those people, if you kind of are nodding your head going, yeah, I think I might. And you just sit there, you stare at your computer, you're wondering why the phone won't ring. You think you're doing it right. You're sending out emails, you're sending out posts, you're like getting in touch with people, and yet the return is not there. Well, the first thing that might be happening is you have a mushy message. Your mushy message, isn't that hard to say? Mushy message. Your mushy message means that it's not speaking directly enough to who it is you're trying to target, and it's not sticking with them. They're saying, oh yeah, that's great. Okay, I get what you do. And they move on. They're not really taking it in. They're not going, wow, I need that. And it's not stopping them in their tracks. And as I like to say, it's not making them lean forward. You want people to lean into you, like their back gets a little bit straighter, maybe even their head tilts to the side. They want to get their ear towards you so that they can hear what you're saying. If your message is mushy, they're not going to have that chance. The second thing is procrastination. Now, procrastination happens when you have a fear. There is a fear beneath procrastination. It might be the fear of working really hard and not getting any results. It might be the fear of having to pick up the phone. It might be the fear of having to sit down and do something that either you don't want to do or you think is going to take a long time, or some other thing is drawing in a fear. And that's what procrastination is. So the biggest way to get past procrastination is to figure out what it is that you're afraid of. Why are you procrastinating? Now, what's interesting is by procrastinating, you actually get to really use your stress skills, like your skills that help you get through things at the very last minute. And like you're so freaked out and you can't talk to anybody and you're rushing around, and actually there's adrenaline running through you. And now this adrenaline is keeping you going, like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. Don't talk to me. I'm so stressed out. I have so much to do. Well, chances are that came from procrastinating, and that procrastinating came from a fear. If you eliminate that fear, and that fear is not there now from stopping you from moving forward, from doing what it is you need to do in a way that's going to be more productive for your life, then you are not going to procrastinate, which means you won't be able to get that stress-induced adrenaline rush at the last minute. And it's going to work sometimes, but not all the time and not forever. You can't live off that kind of energy because your body's eventually going to get used to it. And then what? You're going to wait till more than the last minute. You're going to wait till over the last minute. I mean, it's going to become so heavy on you that you are just going to like freak out and, as they say, burn out. You're just going to burn out. It's going to be awful. Yeah, seriously awful. So our third reason is inner doubts. And you can tell this presentation is going pretty quickly today because I'd like to move through this. I don't know if we need a whole hour. I kind of doubt it. But I decided to come on here and do this anyway because it's important. It's important to me because this is me not procrastinating. This is me keeping up with a promise that I made to myself to do these every week. And I think this is some pretty good information. Inner doubts. You have some inner doubts. Those doubts might come up in the form of, who am I to be doing this? That there are other people who do better, that your system doesn't always work, or that you're allowing yourself to focus on what's wrong and not what's right. That doesn't mean don't try to make things better. It means you are letting yourself not succeed because you're allowing your inner doubts to come out in your marketing. When you are talking to people, they can tell that those inner doubts are there. And if your inner doubt is telling you, like, for me, my biggest inner doubt is that it comes from my childhood. It's way back there, but I'm not allowed to have money. I'm not allowed to have these things. And especially, I'm not allowed unless I have struggled to earn them. There was a lot of struggling for money in my family. So for me to do something that seems easy to me is like a cheat. And talk to any coach, talk to anyone who recommends and helps you figure out what you're going to do. You should charge the most for what comes easy to you and what you're good at, because that is your genius. That is the thing that makes you great, is the thing that is easy for you. But a lot of us don't believe that we should get paid for something that's easy for us. It's supposed to be a struggle. It's supposed to be hard. You're supposed to like sweat and labor over this stuff, and you're supposed to really, quote unquote, earn it. And it's not earning it if it came easy to you. And it's not, earning it if people give you their money, which, they're going to have to do because that's how this whole thing works. They got to give you your money at some point. But if you don't earn it, like there's not a struggle and a pain inside of you, then you don't really deserve it. And the problem is, if you don't feel like you really deserve it, people aren't going to give it to you. I mean, think about it. Like, the thing I always think about is celebrities and people who have a lot of money tend to get more things for free. And what's really interesting is they tend to get more money. Nobody looks at a celebrity who has everything and thinks, you know what, you already have everything. I'm not going to pay you as much because you don't need it. And it's not to say you don't deserve it, but you don't really need it. And if you have ever had a job where you have to drive up in a car to somewhere, and you drive up in a Mercedes and you ask for a certain amount, let's say you ask for $5,000 for, I don't know, to do an assessment on a house's flow, like how the furniture's set up. Or you drive up in I'll use my car, a Ford Fusion. I've got a nice Ford hybrid, but the difference is the Mercedes and the Ford say different things to people. If they look at the Mercedes and assume that I bought that with my own money, what if I didn't? Like, what if it was a gift? But the perception is, if I already have money, then I deserve to get more money. But if you don't have money, you don't deserve to get more. That is kind of one of those inner doubts that comes out. I might be rambling a little here, but I hope that makes sense, because it's a huge thing. When you are telling yourself or telling people, or not even directly telling people, you're telling them through your actions or the way that you talk about what you do, that you kind of don't believe in all of it, or you kind of think there's parts that might not work, or you sort of know that maybe this was easy for you, but you feel like you're cheating a little bit. That's all going to come out, and that's going to make your marketing suck because you are not going to come out with your best foot forward. I have this thing about authentic marketing and that there's not really a such thing, because to be authentic, you have to be messy. You have to be messy and raw and imperfect. Like in a relationship, you can't always be looking great. Like they have to see your bad side. But in marketing, what the hell? You don't want to see someone say, you know what? I had 5 clients last month make a lot of money using my system, but I also had 15 who totally bombed. That would be really authentic. And you'd be saying, wait a second, I don't want to be one of those 15. Well, they don't mention those 15. You got to know that nobody has a perfect track record, right? Nobody has a perfect track record. Even the best football team in the world has lost a game, or the quarterback has fumbled. Everybody has a bad day, but you don't put that on the resume. So you don't put that in your marketing. You put your best foot forward and you freaking own it. That is something that I am working on. Owning it. Just own it. Just own all the good. Own all your best foot forward stuff. Yeah, the raw and the human part, people think that's what they want, but they don't. They're not going to put their trust in someone who's raw and makes too many mistakes. So think about it. Your marketing, your authentic marketing is you, but better. It is your best foot forward. You putting all of you forward, not lying. That would be terrible. Don't lie. Don't make stuff up, but put everything about you. That's the best part of you. That's what you put forward. That's how you get over your inner doubts. The fourth thing is mimicking the wrong strategies. This comes in when you really aren't sure what to do and you see something that works and you start saying, okay, I'm going to do that. That's right. Or you get on a webinar, like this one. No, just kidding. You get on a webinar and they give you all these stats and show you everything that's always worked for everyone. But you don't take any guidance. You just go, yeah, I'm going to do that. Maybe you buy a program and you say, I'm going to have all the results that they just told me. But what if what you're doing and what the person who had the best results are doing is not equivalent? Meaning, what if you wanted to make all your money running Facebook ads and pay for people to go to your website, and you see, wow, that's really working for this business XYZ. So I'm going to do that too. What you didn't realize, and this is where mimicking the wrong strategy comes in, is that they're throwing like $10,000 a month at the ads, and that's why it's working, and they're making 15. So that is an awesome profit for them. But what if you don't have $10,000 to throw at ads? Then you need a different strategy. We are going to talk about some of those different strategies in upcoming episodes, where we're going to get into more specifics and do actual like screenshot walkthroughs of how to use things like Facebook Power Editor and creating custom audiences and things like that, where it's going to be more targeted and you get to see what it is you can do to tweak it to make it work. But if you're mimicking strategies that aren't going to work for you because you don't have all the keys to make it work, you're going to feel like everything failed. I did a webinar and no one came. Well, maybe you forgot some steps. Maybe you didn't invite people. There's like a bunch of things that maybe you thought, if I just make the webinar, everybody will show up. And it wasn't true. The number 5 is giving up too soon. And this is kind of a biggie. Okay. So this happens a lot, especially when people first get into marketing or they're trying a new marketing. They'll do it once, maybe twice, and say, forget it, that didn't work. Sometimes it actually just doesn't work and it's not a good use of your time. And other times you didn't give it a chance. What you need to know is that people aren't going to typically buy something the first time they see it. They're going to need to be reminded that they need that thing or they have that pain up to 10 to 15 times. It doesn't always have to be you saying it, but they are going to need to be exposed to what the solution is up to 15 times. And I say up to because really it could be more depending on what it is. It's the average is 10.7. I learned this at a Google training at the Google headquarters in Venice Beach that I went to. It was a training with some people from the partnership program and Google AdWords. But 10.7 is the average number of times that someone needs to be made aware of a solution and a problem before they actually buy. There's some things that are more impulse buys, which they maybe only need to see once or twice. There's things that are much higher up, like a car. You're going to have to maybe have 27 to 30 different times that you see this or research it. Now, one of these touch points could be research. Somebody researches it. So they look it up and they see your name. They scroll past it. They didn't find what they wanted. They look it up again. They see your name again. See how that works? Now you have two instances. You do a Facebook ad. There happened to be somebody that you would want to work with, and so you show up in their newsfeed. Oh my God, there she is again. That's 3. So as you build these things up, it's going to take people time. What's really interesting is even people who are into internet marketing and they sell things online, you know, all the emails you get every day, they are even finding that often their customers don't buy, and only they figured out 2% of people buy within the first week. 2%. The rest of the people kind of marinate on it. They go to the page, they leave the page, they do other things, but they found that if you keep reminding people and coming back around, which is called remarketing or retargeting, that eventually you increase your sales by like 85%. They go up a lot. So you get that 2% and then it goes up to like 50 or 60% of the people who didn't buy the first time come around and buy again, but they take up to like 90 days to make a decision. Isn't that crazy? So if you do a Facebook ad and you run it for a week and you look at it and you go, oh, this didn't work, forget it. Well, you might have been on people's minds. Maybe you got on 1,000 people's minds in the first week and they went, oh yeah, that's really cool. That's great. But being human, they didn't act on it. Well, you just now totally blew the chance to get in front of them and do your thing because now you're thinking, oh, forget it. Nobody looked at it or whatever. Now, sometimes people totally don't look at it and then you get a 0 result, and that is a whole different problem. That would be either a mushy message or following the wrong strategy. But if you have people look at it but they don't take action, that is a good step 1. That means people did take interest. That means you are building an audience. That means go after them again. Get back in front of them because you are giving up too soon. You are not giving them the opportunity to be human and eventually come around to you. So what do you need to do next? Wow, that was just a jump on there. There's actually our bonus gifts available, and there's limited space to really get on and figure out what are the top 5 things you can do to really push your marketing forward. I encourage you to apply. Apply for a strategy session. They're totally free. Fill out the form, and if it looks like a good match, then we will definitely be talking. And you will get a full-on strategy session where you get to figure out what it is you need in your marketing and how to get you to the next levels. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day, and an excellent, excellent week, and I will see you next week. So go out there and don't suck. And you know what? Probably your marketing doesn't suck as bad as you think it does, but definitely look for the places where there's a breakdown in your messaging or in your strategy and start rethinking how it is that you are going to keep getting in front of people who need what you do. I am Erin, and I am out of here.